Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. We're back again with yet another preview of an upcoming set, thanks to our good friends at WizKids. Today we have our first look at World's Finest. But before we get started, I have to show the World's Finest playmat. This is actually a pretty nice playmat. We have, unlike a lot of the other ones, they're a very predominant image of Batman and Superman right in the reserve pool and the field zone. This is actually one of the nicer playmats. It's pretty cool art. I think it's probably my second favorite one. I still really like the Spider-Man one with the little web accents in the corners, but no, this is actually a really nice mat. So this will be our backdrop for the review of these basic actions. So here we go. Our first basic action is Brave Sacrifice. Target is a 3-cost. Target sidekick gets +2 attack and +2 defense until end of turn. If it does not attack, KO it. And then has the global pay a shield. Spin target sidekick to level 1. So this is a decent way of removing your opponent's sidekicks or giving your own a nice boost before sending them to attack. Also gives you a way of making sure you get a sidekick out. So if you roll a bunch of energy, so it's not too bad. Call to action. Target non-sidekick character die gets +3 attack until end of turn. Totally reasonable for if you're going to be doing a limited where it's just DC, or if you're doing just inset only. But Ready to Rocket does essentially the same thing and does it to 2 characters if they're affiliated. Dark Avenger basic action card, 2-cost, deal 1 damage to target player or character die if you have an active Batman affiliation, Bat Friend. Instead, deal 2 damage. Then global, pay a bolt. Once during your turn, deal 1 damage to target player if you have no character dice in the field zone. This actually could be an interesting choice for players doing the, I believe people are calling it the Shakespeare deck, where you basically don't buy any character dice whatsoever, and you're stabbing yourself until your opponent dies. So that's one way you could use that global every turn. So later on in the game, this probably isn't going to be as useful of a global, but it's still interesting. And also it's a 2-cost to deal damage. It's a nice way to clear out sidekicks, and also does damage to your opponent. So I mean, you could use that instead of a power bolt or magic missile. End of Days, a 6-cost. I think the most expensive basic action we've seen so far. Each player chooses one of their active character dice and KOs the rest. This is sort of like the Dice Master's equivalent to Wrath of God. So you're both keeping one character and just destroying everything else. I don't see people reaching for that a lot with the 6-cost, but there's a case where you could do something where you play this first, then field a bunch of characters to swing in for lethal. It's sort of like an ender card. Kryptonite Threat, basic action card. Target character die can't block until end of turn. And on a burst, also draw a die from your bag and add it to your prep area. I think definitely a decent card to use for draft if you're staying in set. Otherwise, there seems like there's too many other options to do similar stuff, because having a Relentless from the die, it's alright, and being able to prep something, you could use Resurrection or Villainous Pact, which is still a DC. Though this is one-sided, so whoever buys it is the only person that can do it. Not bad, just not terribly exciting. Man of Steel, a continuous basic action, costs 3. Continuous, prevent up to 2 damage to target character die and move this die to your use pile. If you have an active Superman character, also gain 1 life. I actually like this one. It's a nice way of just sort of sitting out and having a way of protecting your characters. Stack up multiple continuous dice, so you could have 3 Man of Steels out and prevent up to 6 damage in a turn. Yeah, this is pretty nice. And of course I think, oh hey, I can protect my kobolds. It's also a way that if your opponent's taking advantage of damaging their own characters, sort of like with Hulk or something, you could sacrifice this to prevent the damage to their Hulk. Yeah, you're not getting blasted by his Hulk. Pretty versatile card, and yeah, pretty solid. And the being able to gain life, that's a nice little bonus there. So 2-cost, to the rescue. You may field from your reserve pool 1 character die for free, or field any number of Superman character dice for free until end of turn. With the characters in the set, I think some of the Superman characters are a little pricey to field, so this could actually be a pretty huge savings. The only being able to field 1 character for free, yeah, it's not too bad. But when you couple it with the Superman affiliation and can field any of the Superman characters for free, that's actually a fairly decent card and something that would very likely be tempting to use if you are drafting or inset affiliation team. So, Too Big to Fly, 4 cost. KO target die with attack of 5 or greater. And in global, pay a fist. Target character die gains +1 attack until end of turn. I like this one because it's a nice alternative to anger issues, which has been my go-to basic action for a very long time. So if I have a character that already has Overcrush, well, this gives me some other way of still using my fists. I don't need to bring anger issues, and I can bring this instead and still have a way of something to do with that 4 energy. And being able to KO character die with attack of 5 or greater is pretty useful because I usually play with a lot of scrawnier characters. So being able to take out, say, that annoying Jinzo or that, well, Jinzo at any level except for 1, or Hulk, is very handy. And if something is right at that cusp of 3 or 4, you could use the global ability, pump it once or twice with a fist, and then activate the basic action to knock it out. So global ability definitely complements the basic action itself. So I actually like this one quite a bit. We'll see how often I actually use it though. Trusted Friend, 2 cost. The first Superman affiliation or Batman affiliation character die you purchase this turn costs 1 less. And then pay Mask, target character die gains the Batman affiliation or Superman affiliation until end of turn. Any card that gives affiliations definitely has room for some shenanigans, and it's always a nice thing to have. I found that with Spider-Man from the ASM set. Yeah, being able to give characters the Spider-Man affiliation was very handy. So this is just another way to give either of those affiliations. So that's actually going to be very useful, I'm sure. And then the first Batman or Superman character you purchase this turn costs 1 less. That's not too bad. Not super exciting because you're spending 2 to get a 1 discount later, and it's not going to come up every turn like you want it. It's still interesting, and I'm sure is going to be one of these cards that facilitates a lot of shenanigans, a lot of interesting interplays and punishments of using certain characters. Because I know some of the Batman characters at least have anti-Superman stuff, and I imagine some of the Superman stuff has maybe not anti-Batman, but they have stuff to help other Superman characters. So could be interesting. Vigilante Justice, 3 cost. When one of your character dice is KO'd this turn, KO target opposing non-Batman character die. Do this once for each of your character dice KO'd. So this is actually kind of sick if you team it up with something like a Solomon Grundy or with the Talisman of Ultimate Evil we just saw in the previous set. So basically doubles up any of that, doubles up that activity. With Grundy, if I knock out Grundy, all of a sudden I'm knocking out 2 of your characters for my 1. Blue Eyes White Dragon. This is of course going to be useful that every time you go to make something cheaper, you're also KOing one of your opponent's characters. So it's a pretty sweet card. Obviously you have to roll it and activate it each turn, but still, that's a really great basic action, and I see that being used quite a bit. I can guarantee you're going to see that somewhere. So we've still got another treat. WizKids sent me some packs to open, but instead of me opening them, I'm going to give that pleasure to my wife. I'm going to let her open each one, and we'll get her feedback, see how excited or non-excited she gets. So let's move on to the packs.
Okay, so we got a penguin, I would assume. And whoa, and me throwing the okay, a collar, which also makes me think penguin.
Yeah, it's Alfred actually.
Oh. Alfred. Caretaker. Ally. When fielded, give target Batman character die or another target sidekick +2 defense until end of turn.
Yeah, this isn't one of the ones I'm more excited about. Defense is never really all that exciting, especially when it's just still end of turn. I mean, it's still as 0-0-0 across the board. Ally is always good. I mean, it's solid. I'm more anxious to see what some of the other ones offer, but let's see what the other card is.
All right, and it's the Penguin Bully. Uncommon. While Penguin is active, when a non-villain character die is fielded, the Penguin deals 1 damage to that character die.
That's actually pretty good. That's a lot like the Manticore from D&D, giving us 1 damage to anything that's fielded. So if you are fielding sidekicks are going to get knocked out automatically. Pretty cool card. 0/0/1 with the total fielding cost. Stats are all right. Yeah, I like them. Another strong tool for villain teams. Anything else you want to add, Melissa?
Well, I'm not a fan of villains myself. No offense to the villains, but I typically don't play with villains, so sorry.
Oh, so there we go. This week's packs apparently didn't make Melissa happy. All right, well, that's it for this week. Hopefully next week Melissa will be a little happier.